What I'm going to do to talk to you today about is an American story of ingenuity, ready to solve a critical problem that has bothered a number of our very close neighbors for a long, long time. The Caribbean islands have long had some of the highest electrical generating costs in the world. More than 90% of Caribbean fuels are oil-based, with high costs and with environmental challenges. But there are no low-cost, environmentally friendly solutions around. The results were economic stagnation, lack of jobs, poor environmental conditions, and a lack of hope that things really could change. Well, SeaOne Holdings, a private company, has now developed a viable solution for that problem. We have a new technology that effectively transports natural gas and gas liquids, that's methane, ethane, propane, butane, all together for the first time in one single liquid cargo. It's a non-cryogenic, flexible, efficient, and much lower cost option for delivering fuels. In fact, there's a potential in the Caribbean and Central America for up to a 50% reduction in fuel costs and a 60% reduction in emissions as we go forward. The solvation process is called CGL, standing for compressed gas liquids. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to make you learn three more initials. Not LNG, CGL is going to be kind of the byword as we move on forward. So it's a rather significant thing, particularly from the standpoint that if we can provide these fuels into that area, get the savings, get the environmental benefits, besides helping those islands tremendously, I think it also does a tremendous reinforcing of the American basis for there, and probably can make sure that our neighbors and our friends are handled, or get their energy problems handled very well in a brand new fashion. CGL uses standard low-temperature steel. Moderate operating conditions, we actually can get this single liquid cargo done at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 1400 psi. So to be able to do that, you can understand it's much more efficient with those moderate operating conditions. It only uses 1/3 of the energy that is used in LNG. And it also vaporizes upon any unplanned release, and there are no sloshing or boil-off problems. In other words, it's just a much simpler, safer operation as we go forward. So it's a rather major change that is ready to go, and it's a project that can move forward. Well, what's really behind this kind of secret sauce then that we're talking about? It's centered on a patented solvation process where methane is absorbed into the very same space as a molecule of propane has. In other words, there's no addition to the volume that you will have, and it's at these moderate conditions of minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 1400 psi pounds. They then are transported together as a liquid cargo, so long as you can keep it at minus 40 and contain the 1,400 pounds. The customer can then have a broad range of clean fuels or products delivered. They can get pure propane if they want it. They can get an NGL mix, LPG, or gas mixtures that have a higher BTU content than the normal methane or LNG. Which, by the way, is a very, very big market because the plants that burn oil or run on oil fuels, it's much easier, much lower cost to change the fuel out if you can have a higher BTU fuel to provide to them. We've spent the development money on this. We have it ready to go. And now it's time to let the consumers and the citizens get the benefits out of it. So what's really involved in it? This just shows a chart, and the project, by the way, has regulatory certainty. Final engineering is completed. EPC contractors and shipyards are being selected. and fuel service agreements are being negotiated to be able to complete the project. The project is made up of an export terminal at Gulfport, Mississippi. That's the black dot up at the top. We will then first transport by marine transport to the Dominican Republic, which will be a CGL hub going out to other islands and all that. And then finally transported to Puerto Rico. Those are the two red dots shown on the chart at that part of the map. Now, first of all, just to understand what SeaOne's business plan is, we're just going to be a service provider. We will receive the customer's gas and gas liquids at Gulfport and then deliver it to their designated market. SeaOne does not take custody of the products. In other words, we're kind of more like a pipeline, just moving product from one place to the next. The customers in the region have been buying their fuels, both their gas and gas liquid fuels, on the spot market for years. That's where the high costs have come out of. And we are going to allow them for the first time to come into the U.S. and buy the low-cost natural gas and gas liquids. That's the first time they will have been able to do that. They will be able to hedge. They will be able to sign long-term contracts. And they're very, very favorable conditions, are getting a tremendous amount of interest from the customers that we are talking to. So anyway, we will then deliver their purchases to them as they want them. In other words, if they want pure propane, we will have fractionation in the country of receipt of the fuels, and they can get pure propane, they can get the NGL mix, they can get whatever they want. So it's a very, very significant and different way of doing things, but that's what the new technology allows. This is a picture of what the Gulfport facility will look like. We do have a track under lease there, and that particular track is where we will get the product coming into us from the purchases of the various customers, and we will solvate that product and put it in liquid form, and then it will be stored in a refrigerated pipe storage, which is the green roof, that dark green on the far right-hand side. This particular tract is like 32 acres in area, and we will be able to put a 400 million a day CGL plant on 1/4 of that. In fact, we will be able to get 4 of those together in this one tract, allowing for up to 1.6 BCF a day of volume as you go forward. So I think you can see, if you also talk about differences with LNG, a 400 million a day plant is about 3 million ton per annum, equivalent to an LNG plant. We have it on 8 acres. I would say that the average is probably more 200 to 300 acres for a normal LNG plant of that particular size. So very concise, very good use of land area. There also is a basically zero carbon footprint basically on our particular track, and we have a formula that creates no wastewater whatsoever. So very clean, very strong environmental kind of thing. To transport the CGL then, we are going to build brand new shallow draft articulated tug and barges. These are shallow draft, as I said. There's a lot of numbers up there, but basically it's 26-foot draft, so we can get into the Caribbean ports like San Juan, Puerto Rico, be able to deliver this solvated product. These are standard design ATVs that are running out now in a number of places. The Class Society is the American Bureau of Shipping, ABS, and they're just standard ATVs. In other words, you could put any cargo in it as you want. The cargo that we will put in it is a refrigerated pipe storage, same as under the green roof in Gulfport. And all we have to do, as I said, keep it at -40 and 1,400 pounds within the pipe. Very easy to do, very energy efficient to do. That way we can carry the cargo of the solvated liquid to the market. These are big ships to be able to carry what they have. They're about 761 feet long, so they're good sized, but they have had very strong support out of the Coast Guard. It's a different concept because, as I said, if you ever had a leak, what is surrounding it at first is an inert gas, so any kind of leak would first of all just be an inert gas that you would find out is there. But it's just like your propane on your barbecue, that if you turn that open, it just vaporizes. That's exactly what happens with this. We don't have that problem of not being able to cool quickly enough as you go forward. These refrigerated pipe storages are completely filled. There is no sloshing, boil off, no gas blanket situation there, and it is a very efficient way to be able to move these products into it. Currently, phase 1 of our project, which is the first 400 million a day that was shown, will require 12 of these ATBs to be built for market delivery to get to 400 million cubic feet of CGL. You can imagine this is a major factor for the Mississippi State Port Authority and the Port of Gulfport, because that will be a very large increase in tonnage coming out of the port. We'll let them do other things, and then as we continue to add the other three 400 million a day plants, it's just going to make that a very, very thriving port system. If you get to Puerto Rico, we are going to be able to have a receiving terminal, SeaOne Puerto Rico. It's going to be located in the city of Guaynabo. It's right in San Juan Harbor. We have basically completed the negotiations on the site, and we will have, once again, when the ship comes in, it will transfer its product into the storage, which is the green roof part of the upper on the left-hand side, where you see the ship also, where it would come in. But the other product, facility right in front of that green storage is the fractionation, whereby we can take the CGL cargo and convert it into whatever product the customer wants, including this higher BTU gas. So that is a very different way of being able to provide these customers what they really want. SeaOne is just going to charge a customer a flat fee to take his product in Gulfport and then deliver that product to him as he wants it in his country. So therefore, the customer has the full benefit of any reduction in cost. In other words, you just take the cost of whatever you buy the product for in the U.S., you add our fee to it, and you will have the product delivered that you want to you at that. So that's where the big chance of having the big reductions in the cost estimates of the fuels for them. So it's a very low-cost, flexible, customer-friendly business proposition, and it can solve many of the regional customers' problems that they have and have had for a long, long time. What could it mean for Puerto Rico? Well, besides substantially lowering the high cost of fuels, it can also eliminate the need for future generating capacity right now. For example, about 80% of the electrical load in Puerto Rico is centered around the San Juan area. The two major oil-burning power plants in that area have been operating at a very low capacity. We then can show that we can take the fuel costs that they have and be able to provide the clean fuels that they really want, and it'll be the lowest all-in cost of clean fuels that there is. We definitely prove that. We are going to be able to get those two plants up to full capacity. When you do that, it probably eliminates the need for future generating capacity, which they have been looking at spending considerable amount of money on at this point in time. With the higher BTU gas, the plants will actually run better and will be more efficient. So those are the San Juan and the Palo Seco power plants. It'll extend the life of existing power plants, and will keep them from having to build new plants, which they don't really have the money for anyway. So they're pretty excited about that. It'll have job creation, socioeconomic benefits. They will not have to have any upfront capital for SeaOne system. And as I said, we also have the zero carbon footprint. It's just kind of a, maybe not a perfect answer, but a really, really good answer for their energy needs that they have and for the environmental kind of benefits that they will be able to realize. So where do we stand on this? If we're talking about infrastructure projects and how we're going to get things done, we've made a lot of progress on it. We've spent a lot of money developing this project. We've spent a lot of money getting it patented worldwide. Both the process itself and the delivery system are patented. And we will now be able to get the project up and going. We have a DOE order allowing SeaOne to export up to 1.5 BCF a day of natural gas containing CGL to free trade agreement countries. Site selections are completed in both the Gulfport and the Puerto Rico areas, plus several others. We have completed the engineering for phase one, the first 400 million a day plant that we talked about. We completed the EPC and shipyard selection, maximizing Mississippi content. We're permitting an advanced stage and keeping with the stage of project development. That we don't think is going to be a problem. The regulators, Class Society, and the flag state have been identified and selected. Heads of agreement and customers have been done, and we're now negotiating final fuel service agreements. Commence site-specific activities in preparation for start of construction. We have appointed a project financial advisor, and this will be privately funded. It will be funded just like any other pipeline project in the United States, with the fuel service agreements signed by the customers. We will then be able to project finance it in the conventional way as we move forward. So, and we're currently in the project final investment decision process, which should be completed by November of 2017. So it sounds good, it sounds great, it sounds simple. It hasn't been. Gordon's had a lot of extra work that he's had to do. We have a few more things that we need to get done, but I think in the context of what we want to be able to do and what we need to do for these kind of projects, we really need a different kind of regulatory attitude and structure to be able to get these things done. So the big part of what we have done is getting the setup, as I said, for the project status. The project is large. We're talking about a total cost of the first phase in the $3 billion range. But it can deliver these half-price clean fuels to a part of our hemisphere that really needs it. It's obviously applicable to many other places and many other kind of projects as we move forward. It's very flexible, very easy to change it into different types of projects. We don't anticipate the need for government financing. We just want to be able to do the project. So what could have made our progress faster or easier? First of all, there's not been a CGL project done at all, ever. This is the first one. So just like I said, you had to learn new letters, so did the regulators, and a number of them tried to just use the standard LNG sort of regulatory approaches, when that really doesn't fit the mold at all. We had people take a kind of regulatory responsibility when it really wasn't clear to us that they had that ability or that responsibility in the first place. So we may even need to have the role of natural gas and gas liquids in the Natural Gas Act separated out or clarified in a more convenient way. There's also an inherent slowness in the regulatory process that keeps benefits from being enjoyed by the consumers. Customers who've got to make decisions on future fuel uses can't wait 3 years to get something approved and then have another 2.5 years of construction time. They'll have to move on, they'll have to do something else. That may be Chinese coal, who knows what it can be, but that is just not a very good way of having the whole process move forward. You would like to think you could have more of a feeling of we've really got something important to do, let's get it done, let's have some kind of idea that we want to focus on efficiency, we want timely outcomes. That really hasn't been there in many places that we've been, so we've had to take longer ever getting this put together than we thought we were going to have. But overall, I must say the implementation of the technology is moving ahead. It's going to really have strong benefits for its customers. It's a good story of American ingenuity that is being applied to a significant problem, and we can expect great results out of it as we go forward. And providing American answers to big problems, hey, that's just what we're supposed to do, and we're glad to be able to participate in our part of this effort. So thank you very much.